Ta-da! No music today. No music at all. But it's a Friday Night Live, 12:30 Saturday here in South Australia on Saturday. So Friday Night Live, slightly out of skew. Not a problem. We do that. We do that quite a lot. Okay, this week. Well, this week I was going to chat about saws. I was going to drag my bandsaw out, I was going to drag my scroll saw out, I was going to drag my table saw out, and I was going to grab all of my hand saws and go through a saw discussion. G'day, Ned. But I thought about saws, and basically it's just to and fro. And g'day from Wisconsin. I can't say it properly. I'm South Australia. Yay! And everybody else hopefully will say from where and who and why and when. John, Thomas, Joel, yay, Manderley, yay, and the people are starting to turn up for a waffle. G'day everybody. There's 10 or so of you. Okay, right, well, I haven't actually been doing much carving the last 2 weeks. Instead I've been playing with knives and making knives and having fun with resins and cogs and luminous dust and exotic woods, and so I've been making up a batch of knives. One, because I get sharpening experience, taking a blade from not being a blade, just from being a blank, to actually making it into a knife shape and then sharpening, which I've managed to do. I've got a couple of those, the homemade ones, the homies, that are shaped. From Clinton, Tennessee, yay! West Virginia, yeah, Ohio. G'day, David. Oh, it's always good to see you, mate. What's MS apart from multiple sclerosis? Missouri? I don't know. I'm not sure. I know a lot of the initials, but not all of them. Let's have a look. From Memphis, Tennessee. I know a song about that. Memphis, Tennessee. Well, I have coffee. Now, I want to show everybody something. This is just brown tobacco. That's all it is. Hand rolling, because my government puts 12.5% every year increase. Then you have the manufacturer's increase, and tailor-made cigarettes are too expensive for me to buy, so I go for the cheaper option and I roll my own. So I'm not sitting here smoking joint after joint after joint. Damn shame. Hello. So I'm going to roll myself a cigarette, a hand-rolled cigarette. So I just thought I'd let you guys know, because I have been asked if I have. Oh, it is Mississippi. Okay, cool. I said Missouri, but Mississippi. Lovely. Thank you very much. I've been asked if I smoke pot while doing this, and no, I don't. I wouldn't be able to get through one of these. I'd be paranoid the whole bloody time. Oh, no, what about if they thought I was stoned? I'm just an idiot, that's all. I don't need dope. I am a dope. Oh dear. Did me. I made a boo-boo. And I've got to manually scroll as the last couple of times. Why not? How much does a pack of cigarettes cost here? Now, that's a good question, because in Oz you can buy packets of 50, you can get packets of 40, you can get packets of 30, you can get packets of 25s, and you get packets of 20s. You can't get anything less than a 20. Sorry, how much? $1.2 per tailor-made cigarette. So a packet of 50 is over $50. It's about 56 for a packet of 50, isn't it? Yeah, it's about 56 Australian dollars for a packet of 50 cigarettes. So that's really like why I smoke rollies, hand-rolled ones. Be watching what your hands you rolled with. Saw it wasn't left hand alone. Yes, look, I mean, when it comes to smoking dope in Australia, we don't do joints very often. They use a pipe. You can pack the green in the end, and I think I'll listen to Pink Floyd. Do some carving. So 26 in a pack in the US. Okay, so you haven't gone to the bigger packs, whereas we did about 20 years ago. G'day, Sharon. So yes, it's an expensive game. How much do these cost me? I get about 60, I suppose, out of this, and this is $35 thereabouts. So not a joint. As you can see in the end, it's brown. So our government has decided by putting 12.5% tax on them every Lazy's voice has changed. We need to roll call a bunch of ciggies and send him to him. Well, that would be nice. G'day, Hilda. Why roll when you can bowl? Hello from Irving, Texas. Oh, cool. Brett's in Houston. We have a problem. I bet everybody in Houston hears that from everybody outside of Houston way too often. Well, it happens, I suppose. Yeah, okay. So I've been talking to the moderators, and g'day, Tammy. Tammy's one of them. Dwayne's another one. Brett's another one. Brian's the other one. At the moment, I am on the lookout for the right people, for a couple more moderators, but there's no rush. It's not particularly arduous because there are other members, moderators in the States, but we're sort of down to 3 at the moment, and myself, and this week, because I sort of hurt my back a little bit over a couple of weeks ago. Instead, I've been focusing on doing knives. Oh, you're in Tennessee. Cool. Living is like Dallas, only much better. I think it's like Dallas, only much better. Cool. Look up arduous. Okay. Hard work. Yeah, so because I sort of hurt my back, I haven't been sitting down as much in front of the feed. I've actually been out in the shed tinkering with making the knives. And I thought discussing it with 1 or 2 moderators. I haven't discussed it with all of them yet. But I thought if I make these knives, then if I make them really pretty and they're functional, they really work. And I'm doing mostly detailing knives, different varying sizes. But I thought I might throw a raffle into the group, a $2 entry, because then that way it covers shipping and replacement of the exotic woods that I'll be using, and like the circular saw blades, so I can buy new. The shipping from here is, of course, like we're looking at $20 to ship anything, minimum $20. So considering the concept of a raffle, and then that way it's like it doesn't matter. Nice one, Dwayne. You were going to, but it was too much hard work. Yeah, so what I thought was maybe for New Year, maybe that I'll run a raffle in December where the winners will win knives I've made. It seems like a good idea, but I don't know how well it'll be received. I don't know whether or not I don't know. Okay, Hilda, you've been asked, friend who carved her a Christmas nutcracker. I've never carved one and have no pattern, going to have to wing it well. I'll look afterwards. I've seen a couple of nutcrackers made by people. I'll see if I can dig out a couple of photos so that you've got a good idea of how they did it. So yeah, I'm thinking the possibility of a raffle where you guys have the opportunity of winning some of the knives I make. And then that way it's like they're personal, they're unique, they're one-offs. I'm trying to make them look pretty. I have like the ones that you've all seen on the feed. That one is this one is Purple Heart, Osage Orange, and Wenge. I've done this one long so I can cut the end off so I can have the blade cover for the other end. This one is a bit different. I've done the colours on the inside instead of on the outside, so they run across the top. I'm still going to shape it, and I've got the end open there so that I can do the same thing, cut off the end, so that I've got the blade cover. And I'm making these with the idea of doing a raffle. Now, I wonder. I'm going to the first craft shop, show tomorrow to some of my canes and walking sticks. Well, good luck. I hope that you sell everything. Oh, thank you, Tammy. The person that wins one of your awesome art knives is going to be so lucky. But how do people feel about the $2 raffle? Like, have a $2 and like you gift it through PayPal. That tells me who's entered into, and I'll then be able to. I'll have sufficient funds to be able to ship, so it doesn't. I'm happy to make the knives, but of course there is a baseline cost to them. They're not very expensive to make, and that's why I'm enjoying making them. They are very time consuming, I must admit, getting them sharp and everything else. That goes through quite a lot of wet and dry sandpaper on my honing stones, and I can't find my bloody diamond stone, which is annoying, especially as I'm shaping and sharpening. But I think that a $2 raffle, pay through PayPal. I get a list of who's actually joined in, and hopefully we have 100 plus. If I was to end up with extra money from this, then of course I will buy more materials and I will do more knives, and then I will keep that going, because why not win a special knife that's been made by me? I'm enjoying making them. They're a little tedious, a little slow, and g'day Mark or Malcolm. Can you not decide between Mark or Malcolm? It's unusual to see both names. So yeah, I mean, this is the idea, one of the ideas that I've had, that it's not in competition with the decent knife makers. It's just, well, I can make them. I enjoy making them. There are a couple of other mods that do make them, so there's potential that this might end up being a lot more. Yes, a lot of you will have to attend your PayPals to make sure that they're up and running, but I'm pretty sure with the credit card you can, because it's an email address that you send the money to. I think that even if you don't have a PayPal account, I think you can use credit cards, but I'm not sure. That may be a little bit more complex, but I've seen it done in another group. It would be nice, I mean, if we were able to build up funds a couple of bucks at a time from everyone. If enough money was to come in, then purchasing, say, Drake blades, because why not use the best? I think it's $20 for a detailing blade from g'day Corey, only a little bit late, not much. G'day G-Cut, that's an unusual name. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, a $2 raffle from beginners woodcarvers, where you get handmade knives that are probably paddock, wenge. In fact, I am in prep. I know that looks terrible at the moment because I've got resin set on it. It's nice on that side, and as you can see, I've built it up of lots and lots and lots of different pieces of different woods, and I will either be able to cut it a long ways and use them as the blanks for the next ones, or I'm going to try one across all of the grains so that the grains actually sit like that on a knife. I'm going to give it a try. You can see that, like, I basically just threw the resin into this tray that I constructed last night, thrown in a lot of different coloured woods. This is going to look wicked when I've sanded it down, because they're all of different heights. Where there's gaps, I'm going to fill them with luminous resin so that these will glow in the dark, not so that you can carve in the dark, but if you have a power cut, at least your knife isn't sitting somewhere dangerous. You'll be able to find your knife. So I kind of like the idea of adding luminous to such exotic woods. And there's Jarrah, purple heart, Osage orange, Wengie, paddock, ash, maple, elm. I think that's about it in there. So there's a really good mix of exotic woods. I've cut off. I got a load from the scrap bin where there were odd shapes and relatively cheap pricing. So I ended up cutting them all up. Oh, I'm glad that's not a knife. It's not. I ended up cutting up a whole load of pieces, and that's basically what I've got left. So you can imagine that I had huge amounts of different woods. I've set the blades into hardwoods, into the harder woods that I can't really carve. So it's a really good way of me using up some of the exotics that I got for my face. Okay, Mark, good, cool. Yeah, from my face things over there, I've got the residue of the woods that I bought, because I bought relatively good blocks, and it seems a good way of clearing some of this stuff. It's a good way of clearing out my excess, and allows me to potentially buy new woods. I can try some Babinga and some zebra wood and a few other different ones, so that I'm still going to do resin in them. I like the idea of, like, that one kind of looks like a bit of a snake, and if I do a rattler's tail, I'll be able to make that look more snake-like. Next time I do it, I'll use the same colour eyes. But I kind of like the idea of animals. That one will end up sort of snake knife. That one there, kind of, yeah, it's got all the cogs in it, both sides, different cogs. That one's actually glow in the dark yellow behind that. So this glows in the dark. But I like the idea of doing a beak as a blade cover for this one. I've got to match the woods, but I could have a yellow beak on the end of it and make some look like bird beaks, long bird beaks. So I'm sort of playing around with the concept of what a knife can be, and I'm trying to maintain a shape similar to the Drake shape, because I like that shape. Through the roll mode. Yes, when I sharpen my gouge, am I supposed to drag it through the roll or not? Excuse me just for a second. Okay. There I've got a small pencil type gouge, my slip strop, and yes, you do like a C, a rolling C on it, and that's, you can also put, if you've got one of these, the slip strop ones, you can put the compound in the groove, and that way it's only a slight rocking motion. If you're using a slip strop, it's only a slight rocking motion as you drag down. So hopefully that helps you, Corey. Okay, and now I would use all of those pieces and make a quilted knife. Another tatting shuttle. Oh, look, I like putting the gears in. Yes, great CQT. It's a good way to market your cog knives. Yeah, look, I like throwing in the cogs. I've got unusual bits. I find if I find an insect that's dead, I don't want to kill an insect because, well, I kind of got this thing that life is precious, and it doesn't matter whether or not it's an ant. I feel bad if I tread on a snail. I think that I have some redback spiders. I have some ants that are an inch long, but I don't like the idea of drowning them in resin. They don't end up in the shape that you want. They show that they're in agony while they die, and that's not what I want to do. So cogs and things are inanimate that I can put in and steampunk it up a little bit. So I like using the cogs. Oh, no worries. The slip strop is useful because it's got lots of. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Is there a feather hanging above Cole's head? What's all that about? Just say it. Yeah, there's a feather up above my head. Would you like to see it? This is from my little budgie. And unfortunately, I just dropped the magnet out the bloody end of it. No, it's gone. Can't find it. That's my budgerigars. We don't have little birds here. It's actually a wedge-tail eagle's feather. It just shows you like the wingspan on those is wider than a car. So you can imagine like this is actually one of the small feathers. I love it. I ended up scoring this off of a friend. But if you're going to carve a feather, why not carve the biggest one you can find? So wedge-tail eagle, one of our eagles. So yes, that's my feather. I would hang it back up there, but as I said, the magnet's gone. So I'm looking at feathers potentially as also putting in the resin. That's no budgie. Just walking around, I mean, somebody lost them from a dyed red one. I thought, I wonder how they go in resin, and how the hell do you actually set them in to keep the feather shape instead of having like a wet stuck together line. So I know it's hairspray. That's the answer. There's also a screaming guy on the shelf. Yes, he's moved. Blaze borrowed him yesterday to do a photo shoot with a young girl that's suffering with Tourette's that she's taken on to give some work experience to, and they were going through photographing people, products and stuff, and Blaze said to me, can I take some of your heads over? And I went, yeah, but don't lose them. She went, yeah, okay, no worries. So she took 4 of them. And then Blaze, would you like to come and tell the story of the ladies and the heads in the car?
I mean, I'm eating a pancake.
Oh, you can come in here and eat and talk. You do it well enough. Yeah. I'm going to get the most beautiful Blaze. She's so much prettier than I am. I threatened her today to, where am I? I'm in South Australia, Hells. The toothpick, yeah, good idea. So, you've got a pancake.
Yeah, guys. I got a pancake.
And she's had her flippy hair for this morning.
Yeah, not quite as flippy today.
You did not do the flippy hair. What happened with my heads and yesterday?
So for the first time in, how old is Stumpy?
Stumpy?
Yeah.
I did him not long, 15 years.
Okay, so for the first time in 15 years, Stumpy got to go for an outing with a couple of other of Dad's heads.
That one.
So yeah.
Tony Shoe.
And Belcher.
And the flip and Belcher.
And the one that the head
and
comes
the head,
off.
yes, the head pop.
And it was as part of a pop-up studio that I was running at a local theatre that's just like 5 minutes
and the girl with the Tourette's.
Yeah, I was helping a young photographer who has Tourette's, who has been looking for work experience as a photographer and hasn't had much chance. So that's what I did yesterday, and I took some of Dad's carvings with me, and I had a friend who was happy to sit.
Tina, yum, pancakes and waffles.
Well, and waffles, definitely.
Looks a bit burnt, Blaze.
Ah, that's good. I'm happy with it.
You got any lemon?
Yeah, lemon sugar.
So
But
elementary, my dear Watson.
anyway, so I pulled up just outside of a building that's nearby where I was going, and I had a friend sit and wait with my father's screaming heads. And a couple of ladies who are job providers came outside for a cigarette, and they saw this unusual collection of screaming carved heads sitting on the side of the road with my friend. And they very quickly requested if it was okay to take selfies with Dad's head. So 15 years, Stompy hasn't seen anywhere outside of Dad's house. He got taken on a journey yesterday.
We got photographed with some chicks.
Got some selfies with some young ladies. So yeah, that was what happened yesterday.
Did you give them my number?
No.
Oh, you miserable cow.
I wasn't there.
No wonder I haven't had a girlfriend in bloody 13 years.
I wasn't even sure, because I didn't say to her, like, yeah, it's okay if people want to take selfies. I didn't even think about that. So she was kind of like,
I don't know. Copyright.
I think it's okay. If you just wait a sec, my friend will be back who brought them down, and I come down and they've already taken pictures with them. And I'm like, no, that's cool. Like, I don't know who would end up seeing them.
I've been exposed.
Yeah, Dad's sculpture's got a bit of exposure, so yeah.
Yeah, well, at least my carvings do. Something to look forward to. I suppose I can ask them, well, what were they like? So
they were really excited, though. They were like, we've never seen anything like this. And it's like, you wouldn't. They don't exist anywhere else, but there's a whole house of them somewhere in South Australia, like a whole room full of heads. Like, this is just a sample.
G'day, Brad. Good morning, Blaze. Oh, look at that. Good morning, Blaze.
Yeah, this kind of morning for me.
Yeah, sort of. Pancakes for
1 o'clock
breakfast.
in the afternoon, but I haven't been awake for very long.
I agree. I'm eating breakfast out at 8:30 p.m. Fried chicken and waffles. Ooh, waffles. Yes, well, so my carving's got some exposure. Yeah.
And a couple of photos, but we focused mostly on the real life models because we had two.
You had them there.
Yeah, I took them more as a backup just in case people fell through, because I wasn't sure if there were actually going to be people turning up. But the tiki head, so the big one that's behind us with the beanie on, that one got a couple of photos by the young photographer that are going to go into her portfolio so that she can show people that she's done like photography of some obscure stuff. So she's stoked.
I bet she is. She's fucking stoked, isn't she? She's fucking stoked.
No, she's a beautiful girl. Absolutely beautiful. Honestly, I haven't worked with anyone that's picked things up as quickly as she has, so I'm very impressed.
Good,
it's amazing what people can
And
do.
Blaze got nominated for an award.
Oh God!
And then they made a mistake because it's only valid in Western Australia.
Yeah,
because she was put up for it.
I got nominated for the Channel 7, which is like our local news. Like,
CNN.
Yeah, local news channel.
NBC.
They've got a Young Achievers Award, and a nice lady in the community has put my name down, but didn't realise that it's only for Western Australia. So as soon as I messaged them, and I was like, I'm very flattered, but I'm from South Australia. She's like, oh, terribly sorry, I have to remove your nomination.
So she was nominated and then
funny.
denominated.
That's funny.
So what denominations have you had? Oh, well, I nearly made it into Channel 7. Oh, I was cutting up a deal, almost forgot. Hello, everybody. Oh, dear. No worries, Brad. Work is work. Oh, absolutely, bastards.
Hey, Blaze, how's the 3D stuff going? Are you talking about the patterns and stuff that I've done, or 3D stuff? Not entirely sure, Tina. Sorry, I'm a bit vagued out today.
And there's a 12-second delay, unfortunately. Yeah. So we have to wait for a response, but that's okay because that's what we do. We're already sitting here.
My business stuff is going really good. And the youth group that I'm involved in has just won an award for excellence in enterprise and community development. So that's pretty exciting.
So what are you? You're a young entrepreneurial videographer.
Young entrepreneur focusing on photography, videography, and graphic design. Woo!
Woohoo!
With the potential to expand to being a business advisor, which is pretty exciting.
Oh,
well, thank you. Thank you.
We're quite happy that Blaze has been run off her feet to the point of emotionality this week. It's been an up and down week with lots of trials and tribulations?
I'm not gonna lie, I spent like 2 days crying, like just solid tears, just doing too much.
I didn't need to Danish oil one of my carvings because she made it all wet. I should carve that. Can't get the lip movement. What time is it there now? Is it cold? You guys are close to Antarctica. Yes, we're sort of close to Antarctica. Our sea is the sea that meets Antarctica, a bit south. But no, we are beautiful day today. I think it's probably mid-20s centigrade, of course, because couldn't tell you what that is just off the top. With Fahrenheit.
90 degrees Fahrenheit is about 30 degrees Celsius.
104 is 40.
Yeah.
So 50 odd.
Between 50 and 70.
50 and 70, yeah, somewhere around about that. It's a beautiful day. Look, we're in t-shirts, so not cold.
I'm cold, but that's because I'm a little person. I get cold easy.
Pog, you got pancakes.
I was snuggling on the couch before you called me out.
Yeah, but this is much easier for me. I mean, better for the group because you're pretty and I'm not.
Tina Hammond, you showed the carvings in 3D. Oh, yeah. I honestly haven't spent much time working on that at the moment. It kind of went on the back burner because I've been doing photography jobs and trying to keep my little small business alive. But
yeah,
I've still got plans to work on that more. I just haven't. I'm trying to get the tech working. So I've recently switched phones, and my previous phone I could do drawings and animations on, so it was easy to do those kind of like 3D. Here's a pattern. How does it look inside of a thing? Now using an iPhone, I have no idea how to do that yet. I'm still learning how to Apple. Well, I don't know how to Apple. So yeah, it's sort of sitting on the back burner at the moment.
Okay, would love to see sometime how to clamp things so they don't move while I'm working. I'm not very good at it yet.
I'm not going to be a model for this. There's going to be no clamping.
No,
not
for you. Look, clamping your things. Could you undo the universal vice? No.
That one?
Yeah, please.
Okay. And try and break everything.
Break everything. Yeah. It's a bit grubby up here because I've been doing resins and knives. These are available from Amazon for about $20. They don't open particularly wide. They're not really big, wide opening clamps, device. But by hot gluing a piece of wood to the back, it's too far away. As you can see, there's a piece of wood on the back, crow's ash. Pop that in there like that. Do it up. These for $17 or $20 or thereabouts are very, very worthwhile buying. They clamp onto the bench. This one is a bit. The reason why this is a universal vise is because it's got another little thing here that allows you to then
flippy
whippy into the position that you need to be able to carve. I generally put this on a board and clamp it up on there, and then I can have that on my lap. The board protects all of the veins in my legs so I don't slip and die through bleed out.
Yeah, none of that.
No, we don't want to do that. I mean, I'll tell you about my bandsaw in a little while. I wasn't going to, but I will. Yes. It was a moment of tired.
Whip.
I was tired, and have you ever tried carving on bone? Yes, it stinks. I've got a set of teeth that are bone.
I remember when Mum was carving the dog bones.
Yeah.
So my mum, Dad's ex-wife, was a jeweler for a while. So lots of little jewelry bits and pieces, and she took one of the dog bones and went, I'm going to try and carve that and see how it goes. And yeah, it does stink. It's not a nice smell, but the bone itself, when it was finished, looked wicked.
Yeah.
It does look gorgeous. It's kind of like the next closest thing to ivory without the ethical issues, but it reeks. Not nice.
These teeth here are bone. These ones are wood, and these ones are bone.
Gross.
And I carved them, and the smell was terrible. And I went, you know what? I ain't doing that again. So that's a nice little jeweler's vice. Well, it's a universal vice, and on Amazon they're $17. So I think you can even get them for $17 with free shipping. It's $20 well spent for.
Is that Aussie dollars or
American? No. Mine cost me nearly $30.
American dollars.
American dollars. It's about $17. They're worth it. They really are. I've done most of the faces. They've all got pieces of wood on the backs of them, literally, so that I could clamp them in the vise instead of holding them in my hand, and then that way it's like my hand is clear and I can push the knife with left thumb, can push the blade, not a problem. It's a good way of clamping them. It's a really good way of clamping. More pancakes. More pancakes. More pancakes. This is another idea. Okay.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your inclusion.
You guys have a good day.
Love you, Pog.
Love you too, Dad.
This was another idea that I'm sort of toying with. I've got a mold that enables me to make these just resin blocks that just happen to be the right size for the router, and I potentially could insert some of those in the sides of the knife. Just got to be careful where the cogs are, that they're not too far to the front. But that's another idea that I'm having that. Now, the bandsaw, when I was cutting up all the little pieces to make this, it was the very last piece, and I couldn't hold it down with a piece of wood and push it with a piece of wood at the same time. So I had my fingers right next to the thing. Now, my back's playing up. It wasn't at the right height. I'd done a lot of cutting. I'd suffered a fair amount of bandsaw width drift, and the very last piece caught and snagged and pulled into the blade, and it pulled my finger in with it, and I ended up with, look, a little tiny cut on the end of that finger. And I thought, oh my God, that's it. I've just sliced through the whole of my finger. Now, the thing with the bandsaw was I cut myself, and I was quick. I pulled my finger away from the blade. I was very lucky. It just literally broke through the skin around my nail, which is quite tough. So that just touched my finger. But of course, the cut happens quicker than the pain to tell you that your finger is in the blade. So if you cut yourself on a bandsaw, you're not going to feel it until afterwards. I thought, oh my God, I've really done it now. I've gone down the top of my finger, and all I did was I drew a little bit of blood. If there was a little bit of blood there, I put some super glue on it, which didn't last for very long because I ended up chewing the super glue off. But that was a very near miss, and taught me, after last week's power saw power tools last week, and saying about safety and stuff, and then I go and like momentary. It was the very last piece of wood that I was cutting. I was sore, I was tired, I'd had enough of cutting them, and I just thought, I'll just do this one last piece. And that's how it happens, on the very last piece, of course. But fortunately, yay, I didn't actually harm myself, but there was a second there that I had to look to see how bad it was. Where do you get the glow-in-the-dark stuff? Yes, antlers smell bad too. Where do you get the glow-in-the-dark stuff people use on carvings, I've been seeing? I bought mine through eBay. They sell basically $1 bag. I bought 10 of them, I think it was. Move the stink bombs out of the way. When I do resin, by the way, I use syringes to measure out how much liquid that I'm taking out of my tin. Ooh. I've got a magical cut, watch. Ta-da! No hands. Yeah, so I'm able to keep the measurements to an exact amount. So I take out 10 mil, 20 mil, 40 mil, whatever I need. And I use one of these, and then of course I just drop the catalyst in. But by using these, it keeps it tidy. I don't have much mess. I've been taking these outside to let them cure outside because they are a little bit fumy and a little bit smelly, but this is the easy way of managing the resins. If you've got enough of these and they're disposable, you can mix your resin with your catalyst, put in the $1, some of the $1 bags of alumina stuff that you can buy from eBay. And if you can buy them from eBay, you can get them off Amazon, and they come through like this. So they come in a little tiny bag, and it's $1 worth. So I bought a bunch to try them out, and I'll be buying some more because, well, it's fun to play with luminous stuff. But when I turn the lights off in here, there's so many things there's all these glowy patches. My tin lid glows in the dark. And actually, when the lights go out, I can use that not as a torch, not as a lamp. It's not that bright. But when I walk around to get into my bedroom, which is in the dark, when I walk around to get into my bedroom, there's no light switch, so I have to make my way through the dark and meander through the obstacle course that I built downstairs. And I can use the light of the luminous to be able to detect when I'm about to bump into something. So that's quite handy. The cogs are available from eBay. I've got big ones, which the big ones are great for steampunk, but not much use for other things. And I also have, this was expensive, I bought old watch pieces. I think these were actually about $12, I think 12 Aussie dollars, so wasn't particularly much, and I ended up with 70 grams, I think it was, something like that. But yes, you can get the cogs. The little cogs, the watch pieces, are hard to actually locate, and they're quite expensive, but worth it. Now I need to look. I'm going to start using the hot glue and my small vise for small carvings now. Yeah, very wise. I bought the Dremel multi-vise, and I'm dying to get to use it now. Well done, Jacob. Thanks, Blaze. Have a great day, Blaze. Bye, Blaze. I have the Dremel also. Love it. It opens to about 4 to 6 inches. Okay, that one's only opens to 3 inches, so that's why I put wood on the back of them. She says, well, you got to get my 11-year-old to start doing that. Look, they're beautiful. Hello, Terry. Yeah, my daughters are just wonderful. They're very supportive, and they love me, warts and all. Well, mostly. Well, they tell me they do. No, I'm very happy with the kids. They're beautiful, beautiful young ladies, and for Blaze to help me with BWC is always a bit of a bonus. No worries, Tammy. You got to run for a crap. Okay, not a problem. I think that's a bit too much information, but there you go. Crap, I've got the runs. It's bad enough when I walk the dog. Everywhere I go, she gives me shit. She goes and follows the newspaper. Okay, what a shame. We're losing Tammy. Video's going, but the comments are not moving. Yeah, sometimes the comments don't. Sometimes you have to manually do them. I'm doing that. I have to scroll. I see some of what you've said. There is an Eli Wood carver's vice. Okay, I have not seen that one. The ones I've got is just a universal vice. I'm sorry, Tammy. I know that you've got to run, not that you've got the runs. I'm just making the most of it. That's all. That's what you read, but I wasn't going to say it. Well, you're not on screen, are you? Yet. Thinking of putting Brett in this spot one week, so that he can do the live. That would be bloody interesting. Brett's got a slew of different skills that he doesn't agree that he's actually good at, but he is. Brett came. Brett and I actually haven't been carving that much different time-wise. I've been doing a lot more because of the power tool stuff that I did previous to ramping up BWC and getting used to the knives, so that I know what I'm talking about, and then the diversity of knives, trying different knives, finding out what's good and what's not. A while back I did ask for knife makers if it was possible to have knives to review. I will be doing a review on a knife. I got my hands on a Drake spoon knife, which has got to be put to the test. Now this is a Drake spoon knife, and there goes the blade cover. Oh, bugger! Ta-da! This is a Drake spoon knife, and bevel. This is a right hander. Look at that for shiny. There's no visible bevel. The bevel is there, very, very, very sharp. I'm not going to show you how sharp, but not at this point. But I will do a review. I've got a little bit of resin on the back. I will do a review of the Drake spoon knife. That's coming soon. I'll probably do that next week. I'll get a spoon roughed out, and then when I'm sitting here talking to you, I shall do the spoon and show you how good the Drakes are. I like it. It's really difficult. I mean, I got the flex cuts. I liked the flex cuts. They worked fine. They were more than adequate knives. Really liked them. Then I got a Helvey, and the Helvey's an inch detailing knife, and I found that I used the shorter detailing knife a lot more than a longer one. And then I tried Drakes and fell in love, and I'm still in love with them. So it'd be nice if maybe the raffle side of things works, that I can chat to the Drakes about potentially cheaper blades. If I could get a discount on some blades, then instead of making my own blades, I could be putting in the world's best blades into pretty knives. I'm going to try. I'll ask them and see what they have to say. Another thing I wanted to ask you is, do they make food grade paint, or someone in the group know if you don't? Food grade paint, acrylics, kids paints, non-toxic. I wouldn't want to eat them or drink them, but kids play with them all the time and never have any problems other than different coloured teeth. That's my excuse. I'll play with burnt umber. That's on my teeth are brown. The non-toxic, if you use any acrylic, water-based acrylic. Let's have a look. Okay, I mean, that says on it students acrylics, chrome acryl, warm red, and it says water-based and non-toxic. Colors are light, bright, quick drying, and are flexible and water resistant. Used for arts, crafts, and hobbies. Clean up brushes with soapy water. So acrylic paint coming in tubes, that's water-based, non-toxic. So I wouldn't be putting colors on, say, on a spoon, the bottom of it of the actual bowl, but certainly if you had ornate stuff at the top of the spoon, yes, you can use acrylic. Yes, you can look at Brett for a spell then. I want him to dress up in red. Okay, reload the page, Hilda. I'm having issues also. Non-toxic, yes. Food grade, I don't know. Okay, cake dyes. Yes, that's the other one. You can use food coloring. That's the other one. It's very, very, very bright. Don't seal it first. Then the color is more intense. Yes, I mean, there you go. I mean, Brett, toxic, non-toxic, yes. Food grade, you don't know. But Brett, you used to paint cakes. You've done that. So Brett would probably know the answer to that one a lot better than I do. The acrylics, as I said, I mean, they're like oil paints, no. Acrylic paints, they come as non-toxic, and kids use them. So I guess that they would be safe enough. I guess Googling non-toxic paint, food grade non-toxic paint might come up with an answer. I haven't tried that myself. Oh, hot second cup of coffee. And the bits that catch him in no for November. Yeah, so I wanted to put them on handles of my spoons. I have testers non-toxic. Okay, well, I think you're fine to use acrylics if you seal it afterwards with a clear coating. You have to be careful of what the clear coating would have to be. The paint will clog the pores. But you can still lacquer over the top because it's the handle, it's not actually the bowl that's in the food, it doesn't heat up. If it's submerged in water, soapy water for any length of time, if water gets into the wood grain, it's gonna potentially lift. You might actually be better to experiment with using your linseed seed oil, walnut oil, or whatever you're going to use, mineral oil, as the food grade sealer. You might be best to try both sealing it and then painting it with acrylics and then sealing it again, or painting it then sealing it, so you only seal once after you've painted. Both are going to give you a different look. If there's any grain, that's going to show if you paint it before you seal it. If you seal it, then you won't see the wood grain either. Acrylics are often fairly see-through, transparent. I wanted to put them on the handles of the spoon so I can use food colouring. Yes, you can use, yes, food colouring will work, but its durability as a colour over time is questionable. But it will do. I've been cutting my beard off for weeks now. Why? It also depends on how and what you seal it with. Yes, absolutely. Maybe stuff in a safety glove. Stuff in a safety glove. Black walnut oil is also food grade and brings out the grain in woods like basswood. Yes, yes. There are a variety of options. Butcher's block conditioner, homemade bee butter, mineral oil, and beeswax. You've got your Danish oils and stuff. I mean, if they dry, if they harden, they dry and harden, they polymerize, which means that the oil is drained into the actual fibers, and it leaves the shininess, the coating. Once it's actually set, and this takes weeks, when it's fully dried out and fully cured, when it's polymerized, it's non-toxic. But that's, I don't know, with going into heat and liquids and stuff. Depends. A lot of people use spoons as decoration rather than as actual use. I don't know, like, how good painting the handle will go if it enters into the heat of food and oils and stuff. Good. So Brett will talk to you afterwards, Corey, by the looks of things. You got surgery first week in December. Ouch. Yes, surgery. Poor bugger. It's not nice. Suffering is just not nice. Full stop. Having surgery is accepting that you're going to be in pain afterwards for a while, but then of course it will heal and you should be better. So fingers crossed for you. First week in you've got about 2 weeks. There's only 30 days in this month, so we're just under 2 weeks. Poor bugger. Hope it goes well for you. Let's just scroll. Okay. Yeah, so if anybody is up for the potential of moderating, we do have a team that a click. Our team is a very good team. We work together very well. It's all about the teamwork within the moderators. At the moment, we have a low influx of people, so it's not overly demanding. I think that last year it went nuts in December and January, and I'm expecting the likelihood is it's probably going to do the same again this year. So I may need just some doormen, but I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, so I'm going to carving class tomorrow to carve Santa shelf sitter. Really excited about it. Oh, cool! We look forward to seeing that, Tina. Let's have a look. There we go. Haven't seen anyone being naughty in the group myself. No, the group is, look, most of us are reasonable people, and we enjoy being in a safe place where, look, if somebody starts cracking the shits or says nasty things or whatever, me and the moderators, we just go in there and maybe mute the person that's being obnoxious or delete the comment. That happens. A little bit of censoring has to happen sometimes. We get on it as soon as we can. Tammy's brilliant at spotting sales and self-promotions and stuff. We try to keep it that beginners really are comfortable here, and that means it has to be a safe and kind place, because I've seen in the other groups just how brutal people can be. Some of the more skilled carvers, I mean, they really bag beginners. So our group is good because we're more focused on beginners than we are on the skilled. But everybody here, I mean, like, you learn an aspect of woodwork. You might get really good and you might specialize in that aspect, but the reality is that maybe you've never touched relief carving, and it's a whole different set of skills and techniques. So this is something that we do try to focus on. That we're constantly bringing new people in and trying to bring them up to speed. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. That's a bonus to keep on the platter in the background, even though not as a moderator will help anyone as. Look, yes, look, it's a shame, John, that you became so busy, because you were definitely the right person to have as a moderator, but life took you away from that, and that's my loss. I was looking forward to working with you, actually, John. Tiniest hiccup here, and there's no biggies. We handle it quietly while we can. Yes, absolutely. It's the Wild West out there. It certainly is. Yeah, look, I mean, some groups are just brutal, and instead my attitude is love. Love matters more than everything else. So if somebody puts up a carving that's, say, different, I love it for the fact that somebody has the balls to have a go and then put it up for us to say, hey, you've done really well on the hair, you've done the hat really good, oh, the nose is perfect, oh wow, you do eyes, like we all have troubles with eyes and you do them really well. These things matter to beginners, encouraging beginners. Is what I had a problem with an advanced carver who had an advanced opinion of himself, that he had 16,000 students sitting in a room. And I tried to work with the man. I tried to set it up so that his knowledge could be useful, but without pointing out people's flaws. I mean, we can look at carving and we can see some of the things that are wrong with it. The more you carve, the more you can see. So being able to encourage somebody, and if they request certain help, then being able to give them that help. That's really, I mean, the group side of things is exactly what it's doing. Please repeat what kind of advice that was earlier. My computer crashed at that time. I want to buy it. Okay, I'll do this easier. It's universal 360 degrees. Universal vice. Nice. Okay, and what I'll do is, I didn't do it. Okay, what I'll do is I'll find the link for one on Amazon. I'm at my hour, so I'll add to that in a minute. Oh, feel like everyone should get praise and encourage each other. Absolutely, that's exactly what we want to do. Thanks, Cole. Very much enjoyed it as well. Well, it's another hour, another live Friday Night Live. I wasn't sure I was going to talk about saws and stuff, but instead, it's become this one's more of a chatting with you guys. Which, hey, I love this. I mean, it's really nice to be able to connect with the group, the people in the group, the core members. I mean, most of you are here week after week after week, so you guys, I try not to let you down whenever I can. I try to be positive, helpful, reasonable, wherever I can. Oops, no, I don't. Oh, shit. I wondered if I still have the box from the Universal Vice, but I don't. Okay, I'll look up. I'll write down on your comment what the link is to the Amazon one. I'm guessing, yeah, you're in the States. So you'll be able to use Amazon to get it, no worries. I will see you next week. Yes, we love the group, and on loving and an hour, I'm going to say safe and happy carvings for the week. Get your pictures up on the feed. Let somebody know that you appreciate what they've done. A little bit more chatter in the group. We're actually declining on posts of, we had 911 in the last 30 days and 63,000 reactions, comments, posts. Now, 2 months ago, we were at like 96,000 for the month, and we've dropped down by a third. I'm assuming it's the changeover from fall to winter. The snow's coming, and we will get quite a lot busier with the Santas and the elves on shelves and Christmas spirals and ornaments and Christmas trees. I've seen some Christmas trees on the feed today. We're going to be doing a lot more of that over the next couple of weeks. So safe and happy carvings, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you for a great Friday Night Live. Thank you for a great Friday Night Live. Really good, came in good today. Good, excellent. So I was supposed to say always motivating. Oh, look, brilliant. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really glad that this is the thing. I mean, I often freak out just beforehand. I get a little nervous because I don't know what I'm going to talk about. But fortunately, I've got one of those mouths that once it starts, it's got a mind of its own. Okay, you got the link. Brilliant, excellent. Hope you have an Thanksgiving. Well, we don't have Thanksgiving here in Oz, unfortunately. Thanksgiving is really plentiful crops, and of course we're in spring and you're in fall, autumn, heading into winter. The 1st of December is considered winter. It is summer here, so you're going to see me get into skimpier and skimpier and skimpier t-shirts. Okay, yeah, have a great weekend. Stephen Hatch, you just made it just for me to say goodbye. I love this group so much, but it's my main focus day after day after day, like making the knives. Somebody said to me, how can you give your knives away? And it's like, I can make more. I'm looking forward to that aspect of being able to maybe put a detailing knife, a pretty detailing knife, in somebody's hands where it'd be useful. I can only use one knife at a time, and I've got some that are special. I will keep a couple of my knives that I make, but I mean, at the moment I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. I've got about 8 at the moment, and the potential for another 3 or 4 before I've got to cut up another saw blade. So the raffle is coming. I will put that up and start it off so that people can start sending the money to PayPal, $2, and you could potentially have a unique one-off knife. Self-help group for folks who talk a bunch on and on and on and on. Yes, that's me. Okay, I'm going. See you later. Push one button, that brings up the, do you really want to end this video now? I do. Safe and happy carvings, guys. See you on the feed.